All right, so here's the second part of this video series where the beginning we did, the first one was we measured all of our book and got all the outside areas designed. So now we're just going to build it in InDesign so we get our template made. And so there's a couple of new things that you'll need to know real quick about that. So what I have in front of me now is my piece of paper that I did my drawing of my True Grit book and has all my measurements on it. And I'm going to go to InDesign. I'm going to make a new document. Now you're going to notice that when you do the new document now, we're going to be in millimeters, and you can do everything in millimeters here. It's just going to convert it to inches, and then we'll set up our preferences when we're all finished. Because in the millimeter section here, in inches, you can't, for some reason it won't allow you to change that for now. So right now we're just going to work in millimeters, and then it'll convert it, and then we'll convert our rulers to millimeters when we get it set up. Okay, so here we go. So first thing I want to do is when I'm making a one-page spread, we're going to start on page 1 right here, right? So we're starting on those, so make sure those are 1 and 1. And then this is going to change to custom when we start putting our sizes in. So the width that I had of my book was 426 millimeters. And then when I hit tab, see how it changes it to inches, 16.77. So it's going to fit just inside of a 17-inch piece of paper. And then my height was 222 millimeters. And notice I'm just putting the mm there for the millimeters and hit. Okay guys, so here's the second video. We're going to be taking the measurements that we took off of my True Grit book, and I'm going to be making my template so that I have it ready for my redesign assignment. So here we go. So first thing I'm going to start up with InDesign. I'm going to open up a document here and then make sure it's 1 and 1, okay, so that we're just doing a one-page spread. It's not going to have two. It's just one single page that we're going to print on 111 by 17. And then we're going to be changing this size, and we're going to be using the millimeters, using the metrics on this. So I'm going to put my width in first, which is going to be 426, and then I'm going to do mm. Then when I come here, it's going to automatically switch it to inches or to their English. And it's just barely going to fit inside of a 17-inch wide piece of paper. And my height is going to be 222 millimeters. Now I'm not going to hit OK yet because I want to change some of these margins here, and I want to change my bleed. So my margin, I want to give myself just 1/4 of an inch around the edges, okay, so that I know exactly how wide my cut's going to be, because what will happen, the printer does not print all the way to the edges, so you need to make sure that you give yourself at least 1/4 of an inch of safe space up to the very edge of your design, and hopefully that'll protect anything that gets cut off, because we are going to be trimming it exactly 8.771 by 8.7402. Okay, we're cutting it out that size. And our bleed, we want to go ahead and make it 5 millimeters. Okay, and then when I hit this, 5 millimeters, and then when I click over here, it'll automatically set all of those to the same. Now this should be all my settings here. So yours will have a different custom size right here, but they'll be the same here and here. Okay, and then I'm going to hit OK. And now I have my page. So I'm going to go down just a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So now I've got my bleed area. If I want, I'm going to be able to slide that everything. If I have a large image, I'm going to slide it off to there. If I have color in the background, I'm going to let it go out. So when I cut it, because my cut line is right along this black line here, all the way around, this is my cut line. And we're going to set that at the very end when we're all finished. Okay. So now I got to put in my guides so I know exactly where all my back flap, my back, my spine, my front, and my front flap go. So I'm going to go grab my tool, and I'm going to grab a guide. I'm just going to drop it somewhere. What you're going to notice up here is this little XY coordinate. If I want to, I can go to InDesign, down to Preferences, and change my units and increments to millimeters, and then hit OK. And then I can take that and see how that changes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my first one, which was 70 millimeters. That is my flap. That's my inside flap. And notice how it jumped right to it. Now I'm going to grab another one, drop it in, and then 70 plus 135 is 205. I'm going to do 205 and then hit Enter. And this is my front now. Then I'm going to add my 205 and the 16. Okay, so 205 and 16. And then what that'll do is snap that guide to the right to my spine here. So 205 and 16. It's 221. I always set that. Oh, got another one here. Set this to 205. So there's my spine now. So I've got my 75 plus 135 plus 16. Now I need to add another 135 to that. Gives me 356. I'm going to grab another guide, drop it, and I'm going to put 356 here. And now I have my guides. All my snap guides are here. I have my back flap, my back of my book, my spine, and then my front flap. So it's all ready to go for me there. So then I can go into my layers, and I'm going to lock this layer. I'm going to make a new layer, and then I can start my designing here. Change that to design or whatever it ends up being. Okay. So now those guides won't go anywhere. I can drop in my color. So if I have a cover on the color on the front, I can snap it all the way to there. Change my color. Remember, if I want to have a custom color set, I can go up to Window, down to Extensions, Cooler, and I'll just pick this. I think Spring was the last one I used the other day. Scroll down here. I can scroll down using these double arrows. Grab this one, Spring. I'm going to add it to my palette. There we go. And then if I want to add one of these colors to my background, there's my color. And theoretically, if I take this, I should be able to put it right on top of this, and they're exactly the same. And notice how it goes all the way to my bleed, so that when I cut it out, I'll have this waste along the edge here, but it'll be nice and clean. There won't be a little white. I won't try to cut to a little white edge. So everything needs to go beyond that that you want to go full page, so that we can trim it with the X-Acto knives and make sure they're perfect. Okay, so that kind of concludes that part of it. So today your goal is to try to get your book measured from video 1, and then do your second video on this video here, then set up your template. All right, well, have a good day. Hope you guys have a good time, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday.